Your first and last name?
Sure, Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk.
All right, so can you tell us about, for people who don't know what Culture War is about, what's it all about?
So this is every semester we do a kind of lecture series, speaking tour across the country, and this kicks off the first of which, and we'll be all across the country. A great turnout tonight, and just a place for different ideas to be able to be expressed and heard, and that definitely happened, so we consider it to be a good night.
And then the organization that you come from, can you give us a little bit of history?
Sure.
It was founded in 2012.
Yeah, so I started Turning Point USA in June of 2012. We've been around for over 7.5 years now. We're on 1,400 high school and college campuses across the country. We're dedicated to educating students around the ideas of free enterprise, American exceptionalism, and the Constitution. And we love different ideas, and we're very focused on college campuses. We believe these ideas aren't given a big enough platform, and we're doing everything we can to spread them.
Now you had a whole line of people out there waiting to give you questions, comments. What's that all about?
Well, so we have a rule at every one of our events where if you disagree, you're allowed to go to the front of the line, and we tried to play that out tonight. Some of the disagreement was done abruptly and was done through interruption, but everyone has their own, their own style, and we gave them uninterrupted, 30 seconds to a minute to get whatever was off their chest. But yeah, we had some interesting and some comments that were worthy of repudiation, some that were worthy of thought and reflection, and some good back and forth and dialogue.
And can you talk about some of the comments that, kind of spoke out to you that you don't necessarily agree with, but made sense?
Well, there were, as far as in the line, there were some people that had some very decent, I would say, policy questions about rates of immigration or about the environment. There was one particular older gentleman that I found to be particularly distasteful, who was convinced that there was a intercontinental Jewish conspiracy running our world. So I pushed back against him rather, I would say, firmly. And then there were some people at the very beginning that were trying to imply that I tolerate something I don't, which is what I would consider to be hateful ideology. But all those ideas are welcome. The way a mature civil society is able to not digress into, I would say, chaos, is to have conversations, tough conversations, and we try to allow forums for that.
And can we talk a little bit about the protests that bursted in the middle of your speech, and then of course there's some outside? What are some things that you would say to those people who think you support white nationalism?
So I do not support white nationalism. I repudiated it in my preemptive remarks before they even had an outburst. I wish they would have come up to the front of the microphone, because they would have been given a platform, as everyone else was. So I'm not going to try to critique their motivations or their intentions. I did say that it probably made them feel good, do good. So I don't think that's not constructive for anybody. And I think there were 4 outbursts, and so of different varying issues, and they have a right to expression, and we gave them that short burst of right of expression, and then they were, I think, peacefully escorted out of the room.
And how would you respond to people who are saying on your Twitter feed that you say offensive things? I guess is what a lot I'm hearing.
I would love for them to point at the tweet that they think is offensive.
And if I may ask a kind of a silly question, but I'm thinking about how to start to harken to this a little bit. Why Reno as a start for your Culture War tour?
Yeah, it's a great question. We were looking across the country of places we haven't really been. We have a really strong chapter here at University of Nevada, Reno. We have a really strong chapter presence in Sacramento. This state is one where there's getting a lot of, let's just say, national political attention. I think that's a fair thing to say. And from what I understand, there's been a lot of left-wing speakers that have been coming on campus recently, some of which that are running for office. We're a 501c3, so we won't engage in the political side of it, but there's been ideas that have been being expressed that we find to be very, that are worthy of challenging. So we kind of looked at the calendar, we said, why not? Kind of makes sense. And we're also going to go to Grand Canyon University, Colorado State, University of Iowa, Ohio State, University of New Hampshire, North Carolina State, University of Florida.
So it's a nationwide tour that you're embarking on.
That's correct. Yeah. We'd never been to this part of the world before, and we're glad we did it.
And
still look here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just keep looking here. What would you say is different about your campaign? I know there's a lot of other speakers that definitely visit other campuses with kind of the same idea. I would say same format. What's different about you?
I mean, there's probably more similarities than differences, to be perfectly honest. I would probably point, I think we try to keep it very specific within a general 3-bucket theme, which we did today, which was around free enterprise, American exceptionalism, the Constitution. But obviously that broadens when people start to ask questions. But the idea of allowing disagreement to go to the front of the line, we didn't invent that. There's other campus speakers on the conservative side that do that. But I think we're the most insistent of that, to be honest, and I think it really fosters very healthy dialogue.
What can you say about just kind of the amount of protests? Obviously, this isn't going to be a singular event here. I'm sure you'll get quite a few in the future. What can you say to anybody that participates or for or against? What's your opinion on that?
So I've been protested many times before. People have a right to their own expression. I appreciate them celebrating the First Amendment tonight. And people do have a right to be wrong. I believe they are very, very wrong about me. In fact, I know they're wrong about me. And but for those people that did go in line and did wait respectfully, they deserve to be commended. And I think the more we can do that and the more we can highlight that, the better.
I want to ask an interesting question again, kind of on the same line. I was at CPAC West a couple of weeks ago, and I asked Matt Schlapp a question on the state of conservatism. And you gave a very robust statement on that. What would you say the state of movement is today?
I mean, it's unbelievably strong. I mean, the party, if you will, but I'll speak more specifically about the conservative movement. We've never had so many different and exciting voices that are able to get national traction, both digitally on campus, that are really shaping culture for the better. And I'm very optimistic about this new generation that will begin to think differently, hopefully. People from Steven Crowder to Ben Shapiro, people like that are drawing massive crowds. And tonight, I think, was also a pretty healthy assessment. I mean, a conservative that comes on campus with nothing more than a stool is able to draw 800 kids. I don't know what the capacity was, but it looked pretty full. That's a good thing. That's a good assessment for the conservative movement, especially when you're going onto a college campus, when you're definitely not the majority opinion.
So back to the protests, why do you think so many people don't side with your opinions?
Why do I think people don't side with my opinions? I can't speak for them. I don't know. I wish I could. And I love to talk with them or have a discussion with them. That's what we're here for. And I can't begin to guess. Misinformation would be my best guess.
I would say, tagging onto that, why do you obviously you had a very formal line offering people the chance to ask questions. Why do you think people were jumping in trying to, disturb your event?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I can't speak for the motivations of people that interrupt. However, I will say that far too often there is a movement amongst the radical left that embraces disruption of public events. And this was exhibited most visibly and most frequently during the Kavanaugh hearings last October, where I think there was like 100+ interruptions of that hearing. This is not anything new. I've experienced it plenty. I will say this is the most I've ever been interrupted, so that is a record. Congratulations to University of Nevada, Reno. However, I do think this was somewhat coordinated. I think that they all decided to go at different times. This didn't look spontaneous. I could be wrong, but the signs and the chants and the flags shows that there's some form of, dare I say, collusion between the different groups.
So UNR is like the first stop on your tour.
That's right.
From this experience, do you think you're going to change anything onto the next universities?
No, I think we're going to keep it very much the same. And I mean, look, we are. Even you saw I was getting disagreement from the quote unquote right, where someone said we should limit immigration. That's awesome to get that kind of disagreement. And look, I think it's healthy, and it's going to be rooted in a marketplace of ideas, and we're very proud to have been able to create that tonight.
In the same kind of scheme here, I mean, talking long term as we are about to walk into a campaign, like the election year, what's the message, the overall message you would like someone who had known nothing about what the culture war is or what you're doing to take away from tonight?
Hear an idea that you might disagree with. So every person in that room heard something that they disagreed with because there were opposite ideas being expressed, including myself. I heard things I disagreed with, and I'll tell you, over time, I am really glad I hear different ideas because that makes you either stronger in your current opinion or reconsider the views that you have. And so that's, I think that's a very, very critical element of what we're doing.
And I have to mention, there was
Sure.
a kid at UNR who was arrested, I think it was last Friday.
Yes.
Can you make a comment about what you know? And you did tweet about this as well.
Yeah, I think he's still waiting for bond to be posted, if I'm not mistaken. But an individual, I don't know his name, came over and flipped over a table violently, and the University of Nevada Reno police, and he ran away. He ran away unbelievably fast. It could be a future in his track. I mean, it's like he just darted off. And the University of Nevada Reno police later arrested him. I believe he has a prior criminal record based on the comments he made in the video. There's no place for that. There's no place for that kind of disruption or violence on either side.
Now you believe it was targeted towards your organization? Is that?
Well, I mean, his own comments in the video show that. He said, "You are the reason I'm in jail," or was in jail, which is preposterous. And then he asked about us. He looked at our flyers. He paused, and then he flipped the table. So if it was a moment of confusion, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. Everyone is allowed due process, but I doubt it. Okay, good?
Perfect.
Thanks.
Great.
And the next group.
Thanks, guys.
Would you like to sit?
Way to
Or would you like to-
cooperate.
Try to do
Way to
this
collude.
here.
No, just kidding.